In other news, I deeply divin. You'd think a radio guy would be able to talk better than this, but you'd be wrong.
Hard Rock Lunchbox.
Hey, what is up, everybody, and happy Thursday to ya. Hope everybody's having a decent, enjoyable week. It is almost spring outside. I mean, legally and technically and meteorologically, it is indeed spring, but spring has arrived in the Northeast, so thank you for that. What's that? A little about me? Oh, well, I am your host for the Hard Rock Lunchbox. Coincidentally, I look exactly like the dude from the Top 20, and the Top 20, as it so happens, has a new episode out today. I had to actually go look and see what the episode was because not much has changed since last week, and I'm still pretty crappy at doing this whole promotion thing and being a good employee and all that other stuff. But it's the one where I'm talking about like fan support and how important fans actually are to the success of not only bands but other projects. And then I kind of just, wheedle off into the area where I complain about people that pad their views on YouTube, and I was talking about the dude or whoever was doing it over at the Millennium Music Conference and how ridiculous it just looks to anybody that bothers to take a look. And then I wondered whether or not if anybody even bothers to take a look. So they may not. So, man, go check it out. But, that's on Strangerhood TV right now. That came out first thing this morning. I recommend you checking it out, not because it's good, but because I'd like people to have, plays on there and stuff like that. So it looks like it's worth keeping. It's been up for 12 hours. I've got 9 views, to be perfectly honest. That's probably the best anything's ever done ever for me. And I do realize that it's just a recap of what we're kind of doing here every Thursday. But like I said, I am planning a new show that'll be kind of exclusively for the Stranger TV. I do have to talk to Jimmy about it because it is his channel and I can't just put stuff up. I guess I could. I could probably do it for a couple of weeks and then Jimmy would be like, hey man. But in other Jimmy G news, according to the Instagrams, Jimmy G has gotten his first dose of the vaccination, which means all applause. He's gotten his first dose of the vaccination, which means, of course, if you feel like it, you can now download the Where's Jimmy G app and track him and his microchip wherever he is across the country. So, awesome. I'm kidding, of course. You'd have to watch his Instagram story to know what I'm talking about. So do that. Jimmy G Shoes over at Instagram. Find out all the good stuff that's going on. Also on Stranger TV this week, another episode, the part 2 of the interview with Mickett from Rivals. Check that out. One probably downside with being friends with both Jimmy and Mikey and following all of their accounts. As I tell you often to do, you should do this. I will say the one downside, though, is whenever there is a new Bacon is My Podcast episode. I also follow Bacon is My Podcast. But Mikey and Jimmy all have multiple Instagram accounts. So not only do I see all the posts and all the stories, but I see them multiple times. I'm trying to limit myself to the ones that I will respond to. I'm trying to keep it very Bacon is My Podcast-ish and just use the others as ancillary because I can't keep putting up claps and this thing and that thing and all the other things all day long on 37 Instagram accounts just because Bacon is My Podcast. There's a new episode out because I know that because it's every Monday. Every Monday you don't even have to tell me. But I'm just saying. I'm trying to make a joke, but I'm not very funny. I'm not sleeping very well, so if this show goes off the rails earlier than not, that's what it is. Also, programming note for the top 20. I happen to notice that over the past couple weeks, you in the Hard Rock Lunchbox can't see this, but in 2 weeks, you'll be able to see this on the top 20. I happen to notice that I had behind me, which is, by the way, behind me is the center, the downtown headquarters for most Revel 9 shipments. Not all shipments come out of here. Some actually do come from, actual places, real places. But if you were to be like, yo, man, I'm going to bet $1 on where I think most Revel 9 stuff comes from. If you said right here, you'd be correct. Also, we're also in the middle of my recording studio, like my pre-production studio. You can't see that part because that's here and over there, and you can't see that because I'm too lazy to take my phone out and show it to you. But so I have my instruments here, and I realized that for like the past, 500 top 20 videos, my bass has been sitting right here and has not moved, while my guitar was sitting over there, just out of frame. To be fair, that has also not moved. And the reason those have not moved is because I have not done a single thing creatively with either one of those things. But it was bothering me that my bass was being highlighted over there. My bass was being highlighted in the top 20 videos, so I have now given some screen time to my my dear sweet Les Paul, my favorite guitar in the world. Don't tell the other guitars that. They get mad, crazy, jealous. But yeah, so if you want to show some love for my PRS Custom 24 right there, feel free. I do it all the time. And now that I've wasted your time with that, by the way, I know you probably can't see this or hear this, but man, I rolled my ankle this morning, something fierce. And I know you're probably like, DJ, were you pulling a car or for your massive workout this morning? And the answer would be no. I was walking down the hall with a cup of coffee. And I am now, I guess, either at that age or weight or disposition or lack of human non-grossitude that I can just do stuff like pull and roll my ankle by using it for what God intended, which is weird, but, if that's where we're at, that's where we're at. Don't let the champion shirt fool you. They sell them to anyone. I am nobody's champion. So, it is time to get started on the Hard Rock Lunchbox. By the way, I feel like I have a lot of programming notes. I feel like I'm trying to address a lighting issue that I've had. So I have a light right there that's trying to stabilize some of the light, because I noticed that the only light I really have down here is mainly through the outside windows, which goes up and down depending on the sun. And seeing as this show should not be dependent on anything or anybody, including astrostellar bodies, I tried to add a little bit of light to it. I have one of those production lights. It has the effect of stabilizing the light and the aperture of the camera. It also, unfortunately, has the side effect of lighting me personally, which I cannot stand. But that's neither here nor there. So I just want you to know, anybody that's watching the top 20, it's completely for your benefit. If you are listening on the Hard Rock Lunchbox, this is not for your benefit whatsoever. We will get to that stuff later in the show. Yeah, man. So, I did have some stuff I wanted to talk about. I had a couple things I actually wanted to talk about. But in an effort to try and keep this opening segment under 20 minutes, I just wanted to talk about one thing in particular. And yes, I realize I'm like 9 minutes in. One thing in particular, and I am not using this as... I have been called arrogant more times than I can count for me publicly addressing things that I think are that need addressing. Let's put it that way. I don't like particularly bad band behavior. I don't like it for two reasons. One, I don't like it because I'm in a band and it makes us all look bad when bands act badly. By the way, what is happening with my hair here? Hold on one second, please. See, this is why... God damn it. This is why I wear a hat. And also, I have not gotten a haircut in COVID. I got to do that. It's hell annoying. But so, yeah, I'm in a band. So when bands behave badly, it's a negative kind of stigma against, like, the industry in which I work in. I've talked for years about, like, yeah, I'm in a band, and like, oh yeah, my cousin's chiropractor's in a band. They play like blues and do some covers for Wings and stuff. Like, no, I'm in an actual band where I actually write material. It's original, and people pay me to play it for them. Oh, like a real band. Like, so there's that part, but there's also like, oh, you're a lead singer, you must be a huge asshole. Now that is 100% true. Absolutely a safe bet to make. And as has been pointed out to me by my own family, that I am not only, when I was in G Davy and early Revel 9, not only was I the lead singer, I was also the lead guitar player, making me two assholes in the same band. And I can't deny any of that. Lead singers have a lot of issues to deal with, and that just is. It makes us be, generally speaking, awful people, and not always, but there's a good chance. Let's just say that. But anyway, so there's a lot about bands that behave badly, especially at venues when they treat places like crap, they treat fans like crap, and I don't like it. It makes it harder for me to do my job, right? And that's a pet peeve of mine. Anybody that knows me knows that if you're making my job, like, I don't mind doing the work. If you're making my job harder, immediately it's going to be a problem. So I don't like that. I've called out bands for that a lot, especially bands that I've actively played with that will ruin a night for all the other bands because they're dicks to fans or dicks to the venue or dicks to the other bands, right? Though more often than not, that's usually my bet. But a lot of times I complain about band behavior because I'm a fan of the band. I've had that problem with a couple of local bands, some of which don't even speak to me anymore because of it. And I wasn't addressing it from any point of like, this is what you should do and I'm right. I don't do that. I offer up what my opinion is and what I think the net effect of stuff that's going on. If I ever come across like I am the end-all, be-all of knowing what to do and do it correctly, that is not my point, and I am truly sorry. I am trying always to make myself better, my situation better, and advise the people around me with stuff that I've gleaned by watching and living and existing in these situations. And I think that has value. I've loved when people have done that for me in the past. They've given me tremendous shortcuts, like on how to get through things. I mean, bands and friends of mine have come to me for years for advice on songs, on set lists, on touring, and I don't, like, I am no expert. I've just done it, and I can say, well, this is what worked for me, and so, like, I will do that, and I will do that often, and sometimes I do that unprompted, because either I have a radio show to fill, or I have something that's happened that just pissed me off so much, and I just cannot control myself, so I have to post it on social media, because sometimes I truly am an impulsive child, but at least I'm not out robbing for meth. So, like, this is definitely better than that, but it definitely does piss some people off. So, all that being said, the issue I want to address today came up during the week, and I am in no way making any judgment about the person that posted it. It does, however, give me a starting point to talk about something that I want to talk about. Now, the person that posted it, absolutely a friend of mine, absolutely has done this before, and I'm pretty sure it's just a start of a conversation. I've talked to some people that, like, really post stuff that, like, my buddy Dave from Vinyl Plane and now 10 Ton Mojo, perfect example. He actively posts stuff to piss people off to engage, and he says it. Like, he'll say it right on there, and there's such a, like, just a beauty in the truth of that. Like, like, yeah, you want to be a dick about stuff. Like, he'll say, like, I feel like being a dick, so I think the Beatles suck, or whatever. Like, I can't even think of anything off the top of my head, but, like, he'll do that, and it's fun, and it's funny, and, I fall for the trap all the time. Like, Dave, how could you, like, dear Prudence, like, whatever we're arguing about. And, like, Dave and I have been friends for a really long time, so, like, we have had arguments where, like, either he or I have told the other one, like, why don't you just go F off and die? And then, like, a couple days later, it's like a text, be like, how you doing, man? I hear the price of bacon is cheap at Walbaum's, like, it's just the way our relationship worked. But, like, I've seen him do that. He is not responsible for this post at all. But anyway, a buddy of mine is, and like I said, he's done this before, and I'm going to read the post verbatim, and if you saw it, then you'll know who it is. But I'm not saying who it is just because I don't want any repercussions against him, because it's not the point of what I'm trying to do. So he says, so I thought about it. I'm the third best songwriter I know personally. I'll absolutely stand by that. Who are 1 and 2? Go ahead and guess, but I will neither confirm nor deny. Now, I like the game of it. Like, it's fun for me. I also have no idea all who he knows. I do know some people he knows, and of the people I know he knows, I'm already past 3 people that I think are better songwriters than he is. And that's not a slam. It's just my opinion, right? It's an actual opinion. And also, like, I'm not even sure, like, what we're talking about in terms of, you know, and Dave, to bring Dave back into it, Dave actually asked, like, is he talking, like, sales, style? Like, what are you actually talking about? And that's important, too, right? Like, the best songwriters, like, what is the argument? Like, what is the best songwriter? Is it one of these K-pop bands that are, like, 1 million streams an hour? You can make an argument. Is it that kind of emotional, like, tear at your heartstring kind of song? Probably not. Is it like a Taylor Swift being dumped for the 7th time this week kind of song? Probably not. But it's a good song. I mean, Tub Thumping. Anybody remember Tub Thumping? Great song. Not really sure what it's about. The Juicy Fruit commercial for years. Great song. Absolutely fantastic song. But what are we talking about? Like, what are we actually talking about? For me, for what I do, the credit that I seem to get back from the general public is my ability to convey a real emotion, a real situation, a real life lesson in a song in a way that really makes you feel it, understand it, and sometimes, unfortunately, put you right back in that space because that's how it feels. And I agree. I don't aim for that. I really don't. I spent a lot of my life and a lot of my career not writing that way. I spent all of my G. Davy time writing pop songs, or as pop as I could get it. And I've told the story before, by the time I was done with She Sells Smiles, I had a CMJ #1 song. Like, Smiles hit #1 in a couple of stations around the country. And it didn't do anything for me career-wise. And my producer basically said, like, why don't you go back to what you do best, which is write, you know, basically from here, from your heart, instead of just writing to write a song. Like, you can write formulaically, and it's way more lucrative. I mean, if you think about, like, the top songs, like, they are formula-driven as F, right? Does it make a great song? I've said repeatedly on this show that, like, my goal in life is to write a song or songs that, like, not only stand the test of time, but truly embrace people's emotions to the point where it will stop them in their tracks years from now. I used to say, like, how good of a song like Minerva is from Deftones. Something along those lines. And actually one of the nicest compliments I've ever gotten, I was talking about that on one of the, it was either one of the Long Island Unplugged streams or the New to You music stream. I don't even remember which one, but I was talking, we were doing the thing with Mikey and Jimmy, and they were both like, you've done that. You've absolutely done that. And that's awesome. Like, it's a smaller scale, so I guess it's hard to see, but, like, if I've done that for them and I've done that for others, then I've really achieved, like, a life goal. Like, God damn it, man. Like, for me. Right? That's awesome. Except for the fact that I got to pick a new life goal. I mean, I can't think of anything better than that. So for me, like, that is what defines the best songwriters. And I'm not saying that I'm better than he is. I'm just saying that's what defines that kind of stuff for me. And that being said, I know some really good songwriters. Like, I literally hang out with really good songwriters, like, on the regular. Like, kind of the best I know. And I know others, too. Like, I know others that do it professionally, like go to workshops and do it as their day job. You know, like, that's, I mean, yeah, there's got to be some God-given talent, but if you're really working at it, like, you're going to get to be a better songwriter. Anybody that does anything, you exercise those muscles, like, you're going to get better at that kind of thing. And I don't know what qualifications the dude that posted this have, but I've heard his songs, and I like them. They're good. They're catchy. I think they could really benefit from serious production and serious rewriting, because that's my process, and I know what it's done for me. It's not the only process at all, but if he's just waking up and writing those, like, there's a lot of room to go up. And I don't mean any disrespect at all. I would avail myself of that. I know that I have been working on that other end lately, where I am taking bits and pieces of a song and arranging them and producing them and trying to make them what I would consider to be better. And again, it's subjective and it's me, so I can't say that it's better, but it's what I think is better. And it's a fun experiment, and as a songwriter, I think it's important to do that, and I didn't realize how important it was to do that, because all it's really doing is making your toolbox bigger and, like, putting, whoa, I could do this like I did in that song, I could do this like I did in that song. Like, I'm really looking forward to doing that, like, and I have plans to do that with other people, because I want to expand that, and they want to work with me to expand their writing, which is fantastic. And I've been arguing that for any songwriter for as long as I can remember. Once I started working, like, with a production team and actually going through that work, I mean, half the G. Davies songs, like, literally, like, I wrote it, cool, I wrote this song, let's do this song, and that was that. And I really only edited something out if a spark happened or there was just a part I could not play. But, man, I kick myself. Like, it was so obvious, and I wish somebody had just sat me down and said, this is really good. Why don't you work on this part and make that better? I would have been like, oh, I never thought of that. It's like if you get dinner, right? Like you get like a nice piece of chicken and, like, let's say some, like, French cut string beans, and they're really good, and you just get some mashed potatoes, but they're just plain mashed potatoes. Be like, wow, this is a really good meal. And if, like, somebody, like, leaned in and be like, dude, you want to put some butter and maybe some pepper on those potatoes? You'd be like, oh my God. This meal I thought was great is now greater. I don't know how I got to chicken and mashed potatoes. I also don't know how I got 22 minutes into the show. I really wanted to talk about that because the last thing I wanted to say about it, and was the main thing I wanted to say about it, is, like, why would you post that? I mean, I'm hoping he's just trying to be agitating and, like, you know, like, have a talking point and stuff like that, but, like, I'm not going to tell you where I feel like I fall as a songwriter. I will tell you this, I don't think I'm the best songwriter I know. I don't. Not by a lot. But even if I was sure I was fifth, for all of my arrogance, for all of my obnoxious, for all of my apparent know-it-all bullshit that I go through and dish out all the time, not a chance in hell would I be like, yeah, I'm fifth, man. Who do you think 1 through 4? Not a chance. I will, however, tell you everybody I think who is not as good as me, and I'll do that right now. Of course, absolutely kidding. Not even remotely going to do that. Anybody that can write a song, anybody that can pull a thought out of here, put it down into music and make it rhyme even. Like, God bless you. We need more of you. And apparently I'm willing to help. So, but I'm not open for business. And I'm backed up. I actually have some appointments that I'm going to keep. I swear to God. And they are priorities on my list. And that's going to happen. But anyway. In other news, I deeply divin. You'd think a radio guy would be able to talk better than this, but you'd be wrong. You know what? I think I am the third best talker on the radios, and I'm kidding. I don't think that's true either. I went deep diving into Spotify this week, and the reason probably won't surprise you at all. I'll get into that in a little while, but I did spend some time in the earlier decades, and I spent most of my time, I'm going to say, in the 90s and the early 2000s, and I picked up a lot of music for you this week. So if you hate the 90s and the 2000s and all that other stuff, you might want to mute, go to a different show, or just stick around. It'll be fun. Maybe you'll learn something. Probably not. But, yeah, it's time for some oldish music. Let's go with that. On the box.